I'm here with Senator John Ossoff. Thanks so much for the time on such a historic day.
It
What
is.
are your thoughts as Washington, D.C. receives the former president for a final time?
It'll be a solemn moment in the Capitol Rotunda today. The Senate will process out of the Senate chamber. We'll all take a moment to pay our final respects to President Carter and to reflect on his legacy. And I think it's, in particular, those of us who represent Georgia, a significant moment as the whole nation reflects on the legacy of one of the most historically significant Georgians ever to engage in public life in the United States.
It was so telling back home to see 23,000 people come through the Carter Center to say a final goodbye, a thank you, and we expect a lot of people to do the same here in Washington, D.C. What, as you look back on an incredible life of service, what stands out to you most when you think of President Carter?
One of the most remarkable things about President Carter is how he had such an impact, not just as an elected official, a governor and a president of the United States, but in his post-presidency. He and his organization and his First Lady's work advancing democracy and free and fair elections around the world. They're very impactful, sometimes unheralded, but very impactful work in public health and disease eradication, really demonstrating his continued commitment to having an impact and ability to have an impact even after he'd left elected office.
Such a conscious decision, and I know the thought from the Carter Center and much of the family was the best way that each of us could honor his legacy is to choose a way to put good into the world as well.
Well, I think it'll also be an important moment as the country is seemingly so politically divided for folks of all ideological persuasions and political affiliations to take a moment and reflect on the life and contributions of a great American.
Interesting. It's such an important point you make because as people are talking about President Carter and his long life, most people are talking about kindness, character, authenticity, sincerity, not as much about politics, really the things that bring us together, not divide us.
Yeah, in his time, of course, he was also embroiled in the daily cut and thrust of partisan politics as we all now today. And yet, when we look back on his presidency and his life, we put that to the side. We focus on his contributions to the nation and to the world. And I hope it can be a unifying moment for us here in Congress today.
As we transition here in Washington in this period of time, what do you hope of President Carter's legacy is carried on as the work continues in Washington?
Well, I think that President Carter brought a moral grounding to his public service. And so much of politics has become debased from core American values, even from just the fundamentals of civility and mutual respect. I hope that part of his legacy can inspire us all to treat each other decently and kindly, even if we have sharp and profound disagreements.
Senator, have you had the chance to take some real moments to reflect and think about personally to you what President Carter meant? I don't know the depth of your interactions with him, but are there moments that are coming to mind for you?
I think it's an especially significant moment for Georgians to represent the Peach State and have the whole nation pause this week and honor one of the greatest Georgians in American history. And I have been reflecting on how, even after he left the White House, he had such an impact here in the United States and around the world in his post-presidency as an advocate for free and fair elections and democratic values, as well as his work on public health and disease eradication, really demonstrating his power to make a difference even after he left office.
And in this moment, we're at this transition, there's so much tumult, there's so much division. Is there something from his legacy that could be a message to American people right now?
Well, I think that his service was grounded in his morality, and he was a consistently decent, kind, and civil public servant. And at this moment when our national discourse is so nasty, and it seems that the basics of civility and mutual respect, whether in politics or frankly in the rest of our daily lives, have eroded. Perhaps we can draw on his legacy and his values and reconnect with some of those core principles.